Today's critique examines a submitted news report detailing the dismissal of a second-degree murder charge against a suspect in a Groveton bus stop stabbing due to a lack of forensic evidence and uncooperative witnesses.
Lots to unpack there.
Yeah. Let's dive straight into the feedback to see how we can strengthen this material.
Sounds good.
So getting right into it, the core narrative struggles to maintain focus on the primary subject because it abruptly introduces unrelated incidents into the reading path.
Right, yeah. In breaking crime reporting, reader attention is, well, it's incredibly fragile.
Exactly. The weakness here is that the piece completely breaks the flow of Robert Reed's specific legal updates.
Yeah, by suddenly dropping in a paragraph about a totally different 495 stabbings road rage incident right after mentioning Reed's current jail status.
It's just jarring. So to improve this, the writer should maintain strict focus on the main news by removing embedded tangential stories from the body of the text.
Yep. As a concrete example of how to do this, and there are plenty of ways to handle it, you could move the 495 stabbings update to a dedicated related local crime sidebar.
Or even just a bulleted list at the very end of the piece.
Exactly. Doing that ensures the timeline of Reed's June 2025 arrest and the Nolle Prosequi motion flows completely uninterrupted.
Right. Moving on to the next point, the credibility of the reporting is slightly muffled by burying the primary sources at the very bottom of the piece.
This is a huge one.
Yeah, the weakness is that the article relies so heavily on active court proceedings and official statements, but it only reveals this in a footnote at the very end.
Which really misses a prime opportunity to establish immediate journalistic authority.
Totally. So the suggestion here is to weave attribution directly into the narrative to clearly report what the sources are right away.
Right. Don't make the reader wait for it. For a concrete example, instead of a concluding the source paragraph, integrate the phrasing into the active text.
You could say something like, according to court proceedings observed on Wednesday.
Or, based on statements provided by the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office.
Yeah, exactly. These are just a couple of examples out of many stylistic choices, but getting those sources up front is crucial.
Definitely.
All right, looking at our final major point, the inclusion of a prior separate legal case dilutes the immediate breaking details regarding the current suspect's remaining charges.
Yeah. The weakness we found is that detailing the previous release of Abdul Jallo and the fatal stabbing of Stephanie Minter right in the middle of Reed's ongoing drug and wounding case.
It just creates a really confusing, intersecting timeline for the reader.
It really does. It pulls focus from the main news.
So our suggestion to fix this is to separate the broader historical context of the prosecutor's office from the immediate news.
Right. And for a concrete example of putting this into practice, you could finish detailing Reed's upcoming March 19 and April 8 hearings first.
Just get all the immediate stuff out of the way.
Exactly. And then create a distinctly separated final section, maybe titled Broader Scrutiny, to discuss the internal police emails regarding Jallo.
Right.
Again, just one possible solution, but separating it out clarifies everything.
It really sharpens the focus.
This is the brief on the dropped murder charge in Fairfax County. You know, a really high-profile second-degree murder case for a 2025 deadly bus stop stabbing in Virginia just completely fell apart. And man, it has put a massive spotlight squarely on the local prosecutor's office. First, let's talk about why this case collapsed. The murder charge against 56-year-old Robert Reed was dropped basically due to a total lack of concrete evidence. I mean, what went wrong? Well, the surveillance video of the Groveton bus stop stabbing was just way too blurry to actually identify the attacker. And get this, forensic tests on a knife they found on Reed, 0 DNA or blood matches. Absolutely nothing. To make matters worse, key witnesses literally vanished or just stopped cooperating. Though, keep in mind, the state can absolutely re-prosecute him if new evidence ever pops up. Second, the suspect isn't exactly walking free. Reed is actually choosing to represent himself in court right now, and he is still sitting behind bars facing a whole slew of other serious charges. We're talking illegal distribution of cocaine and fentanyl, plus a totally separate charge for unlawfully wounding a fellow inmate. Finally, we got to look at the bigger picture here. There is just mounting pressure right now on Fairfax Commonwealth's attorney Steve Discano's office. See, this dropped case comes immediately after some pretty explosive revelations that his office previously ignored direct police warnings about releasing a different repeat offender who then allegedly went out and committed another fatal stabbing. So while this specific murder investigation hit a dead end because of the evidence, the suspect's ongoing legal battles and the intense heat on that prosecutor's office are far from over.